The planet Jaren was known across the galaxy for its brutal battle arenas. In these arenas, champions from different species fought not just for glory, but for the pride of their worlds. And among them stood one name feared above all, Kyle Rin, the invincible alien warrior woman from the warrior race called the Drakari. Kyle Rin had never lost a match. Her skin was marked with glowing battle tattoos, each one earned through hard combat. She was tall, powerful, and fast, faster than any human had ever seen. Her weapon of choice was a curved blade made from star-forged metal, said to cut through armor like paper. The Drakari believed in strength and honor. Losing was considered shameful. Kyle Rin had risen through the ranks by never showing fear, never backing down, and never giving her enemies a second chance. The Galactic Coalition had now arranged a final match. This was no ordinary battle. It was a test between species. The strongest warrior of the Drakari would face a human challenger. The match would be broadcast across many worlds. Some said it was for entertainment. Others whispered it was a hidden trial to measure humanity's true power. Kyle Rin entered the arena to the roar of thousands. Her name was shouted in many languages. Her confidence showed in every step she took. Her armor gleamed under the arena lights. She walked with purpose, with pride, knowing she would win, just as she always had. Then her opponent was announced. A human stepped into the arena. His name was Logan. He looked simple, just a man in basic combat gear, no armor enhancements, no glowing tattoos, no famous victories. He had short brown hair, calm eyes, and carried no weapon at all. The crowd laughed. Even Kyle Rin raised an eyebrow. "This is your champion," she said loudly, turning to the announcers. "You mock me." Logan didn't reply. He just stood, in place, watching her. Not afraid, not arrogant, just quiet. Kyle Rin stepped forward until they stood only a few feet apart. She looked down at him and smirked. "You can never defeat me, human. You should have stayed on your soft little planet." Still, Logan didn't speak. The match began. Kyle Rin moved first, fast as lightning. She swung her blade in a smooth arc, expecting the human to panic. But Logan stepped aside just in time. The blade missed by inches. The crowd gasped. She turned and struck again, faster, harder. Logan ducked and rolled away. He wasn't fighting back, but he wasn't getting hit either. It confused her. No one had ever avoided her this well. Kyle Rin growled. "Fight me properly," Logan finally spoke, his voice calm. "I'm not here to play your game. I'm here to survive." His words annoyed her more than any strike would have. She rushed him again, aiming for his legs, then his chest. He dodged again and again, using only his body and sharp instincts. The crowd, once cheering for Kyle Rin, now began watching in silence. Something was different about this fight. Logan moved like water, never in the same place twice. He didn't block or attack. He waited. He studied her movements, learning her patterns. Every time she missed, she became more frustrated. Kyle Rin shouted, swinging hard at his side. Logan dropped to the ground, letting her blade slice the air above him. He swept her legs, and for a brief moment she stumbled. The crowd gasped louder than before. She jumped back quickly, regaining her balance, eyes narrowing. "How?" she asked. Logan stood, brushing dust off his pants. "You fight like a storm," he said. "But storms are predictable." Kyle Rin tightened her grip on her blade. She wasn't used to this, being questioned, being studied. She had won every match with speed and power. But Logan didn't fight with either. He was using something else. Her pride pushed her forward. She struck again, this time in a flurry of movements so fast that the air itself seemed to shake. Logan barely escaped, rolling into the wall and standing up with a slight bruise. Kyle Rin slowed down. She was breathing harder now, not from exhaustion, but from confusion. Why couldn't she hit this human? Why did he keep getting away? "Are you just going to run forever?" she asked angrily. Logan smiled softly. "I don't run. I wait for the right moment." The crowd was now split. Some still cheered for the Drakari champion. Others had begun whispering Logan's name. Children watching from distant planets leaned closer to their screens. Elders raised their eyebrows. This wasn't how they thought it would go. In the announcer's box, Galactic Coalition officers watched in silence. This fight was revealing something they hadn't expected. Humans, once thought to be the weakest species, were showing something more important than strength. They were showing adaptability. Kale Rin circled Logan now, slower, more careful. She began to realize that she had never really been tested. Her past victories had made her strong, but also blind. This human without armor or fame was showing her something new. For the first time in her life, Kale Rin wasn't sure if she would win. The match was far from over, but the seeds of doubt had been planted. And for someone like Kale Rin, doubt was more dangerous than any weapon. Kale Rin paced slowly across the arena floor, her sharp eyes locked on Logan. The crowd watched in silence. The cheers had quieted. Everyone could feel the shift in the battle. Logan stood still. His breathing was steady. There was a light scratch across his cheek, but his body was still strong. He had no armor, no shield, and no weapon. Yet somehow he had made the champion of the Drakari unsure of herself. Kale Rin lowered her blade slightly. Her voice was calm, but firm. "You do not strike. You do not fall. Are you a warrior or a ghost?" Logan didn't answer right away. He looked at her strong arms, her sharp blade, her glowing tattoos. Then he finally spoke. "I'm a human," he said. "That's enough." His answer wasn't loud, but it carried weight. Something about the way he said it made the crowd murmur. Even Kale Rin's grip on her blade tightened. She had heard of humans before. Most Drakari believed humans were weak, emotional, slow, unfocused. But now, facing Logan, she felt something else, confusion. Logan moved again, not toward her, but around her. His steps were light. His eyes never stopped watching. Kale Rin turned to follow him. She had fought beasts with claws, machines with missiles, and warriors with telepathy. But Logan was different. He fought without fighting. Kale Rin struck. Again, quick and sharp. Her blade whistled through the air. Logan dodged, ducked low, and slipped behind her. He tapped her shoulder before stepping back. The crowd gasped. It was not an attack, but it was a message. "I see you, and I can reach you." Kale Rin turned fast, frustration building. "You mock me," she said. "No," Logan replied. "I challenge you." For the first time, Kale Rin took a long breath. She needed to think. Her heart was racing, and not just from movement. This wasn't a normal fight. Logan was testing her in ways she had never trained for. She stepped back and raised her blade again. "Then show me your strength." Logan didn't move forward. He stayed where he was. "Strength isn't always about muscle or metal," he said. "Sometimes it's about knowing when to wait." Kale Rin's eyes narrowed. "That sounds like fear." Logan tilted his head. "Fear can be smart. It teaches you when not to rush." The alien warrior's jaw tightened. She was used to victory, to respect, to silence her enemies quickly. But Logan wasn't afraid of her, not in the usual way. He respected her, but he didn't fear her. Kale Rin charged again, this time faster. Her feet pounded the ground as she closed the space between them. Logan dodged left, then spun around her. He didn't run far. He was always close, always, reading her. Kale Rin swung 3 times in a blur of motion. Logan jumped, crouched, and rolled. He stumbled slightly at the end, and she saw her chance. Her blade came down, but Logan caught her wrist. The crowd shouted. It wasn't power that stopped her blade. It was timing. Logan had moved at the perfect moment. Kale Rin pulled her arm back, freeing herself. She stepped back, surprised. "How?" she asked. "You repeat your steps," Logan said. "Same left swing, same foot pattern, same breath before a strike." Kale Rin didn't reply. She was shocked. No one had ever read her like this. She had trained since childhood, learned every war style of the Drakari, and yet this human with no armor was breaking through her rhythm. He wasn't attacking with fists or weapons. He was attacking with awareness. "You think like prey," she said quietly. Logan shook his head. "No. I think like someone who's tired of being hunted." Kael Rin lowered her blade. Just a little. The air was heavy, not with anger, but with questions. Why couldn't she beat him? Why did he move like water and fight like wind? Why was she, the champion of her people, starting to doubt her own strength? She circled him again. Slower now. Thinking. Logan stayed, still. He wasn't sweating. He wasn't scared. He was waiting. Kael Rin remembered something her old trainer once said. The most dangerous fighter is not the one with the sharpest blade, but the one who knows when not to use it. Back then, she had laughed at those words. Now she wasn't so sure. She suddenly spoke, her voice serious. "What are you really doing here, human?" Logan looked around the arena, then back at her. "Showing that we're not what you think. We are." Kael Rin didn't understand. "What do you mean?" "You see humans as weak," Logan said. "But we're more than that. We survive. We adapt. We learn from everything, even defeat." Kael Rin stepped back again. Her hands were steady, but her mind was full of thoughts. She had entered the arena to win, to crush her opponent like she always did. But now she was facing someone who made her question everything, not because of brute strength, but because of something deeper. Logan took a step forward, not as an attack, but as a sign. "You've been fighting for so long, maybe you forgot how to see people," he said. "I didn't come here to kill you. I came here to wake you up." Kael Rin looked at him, stunned. In all her battles, no one had ever said something like that. Was this the human way? To challenge through understanding? To defeat not just with force, but with meaning? The arena was silent. Even the wind had stopped. The two fighters stood in the middle, one born to destroy, the other born to endure. And slowly the crowd began to cheer, not just for Kael Rin, but for Logan, the human who fought with his mind. Kael Rin stood still, her heart beating faster than usual. Not from fear, not from exhaustion, but from doubt. For the first time in her long career as a warrior, she was unsure of her victory. She looked at Logan again. He didn't move. He just stood there, quiet and calm, like he was never meant to fight at all. But Kael Rin now understood that he was fighting. In a different way. A human way. The crowd around them began to cheer both names now. Some shouted, "Kael Rin the Blade." Others cried out, "Logan the Thinker." No one could have predicted this match would become something bigger than strength. It was now about belief, pride, and what it truly meant to be strong. Kael Rin lowered her blade just slightly. She didn't know why. Maybe it was respect. Maybe it was confusion. Maybe it was both. "You do not strike," she said again, more softly. "Why?" Logan took a slow breath. "Because you haven't earned it yet." Her eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" "You still think this fight is only about muscles and blades," Logan said. "But I see something else." Kael Rin stepped forward. "Speak clearly." "I see someone trying too hard to be perfect," Logan said. "Someone who was told never to lose, never to feel weakness. And now you're afraid, not of me, but of what losing might mean." Those words hit harder than any punch. Kael Rin had been trained from childhood to believe that a warrior must never fall. Her instructors beat that rule into her mind. Drakari never lose. She was praised for winning and punished for even small mistakes. Every battle was a chance to prove she was worthy. But now in front of the galaxy, she was being told it was okay to be something more. She remembered her first match. She was only 13. She had defeated a much older fighter. Her face had been bleeding, her shoulder broken, but she had smiled. She had proved herself. But after that, every win became harder. Every cheer sounded more like pressure. She didn't fight for joy anymore. She fought to not fall. Kael Rin's voice was quiet now. "You speak like a philosopher, not a warrior." Logan shook his head. A true warrior knows when to think. The two circled again. The crowd remained silent, sensing something powerful was happening. Kael'Rin took a deep breath. She raised her blade again, but it was no longer about rage or pride. This time she fought to understand. She dashed forward, not as a storm but as a learner. Logan moved too. He wasn't as fast, but he was clever. He used the ground, the wind, her timing. He rolled under a swing and used his foot to kick sand into her path, breaking her rhythm. But Kael'Rin didn't fall. She jumped back and smiled. "Yes," she whispered. "Make me think." They exchanged blows. Not to destroy, but to test each other. Logan tried a low sweep. Kael'Rin blocked it and countered with a soft strike, pulling her punch at the last second. "You held back," Logan said. "Yes," Kael'Rin answered, "because now I understand." They circled once more, their breathing heavy, but their eyes clearer than before. Kael'Rin had changed. She was no longer the Drakari war machine. She was now a fighter who had seen the human way. Thoughtful, adaptive, and deep. "You see now," Logan said. "We're not weak. We're different." Kael'Rin nodded. "And difference is not weakness." They clashed again, this time faster. The crowd stood up. The battle was not one-sided anymore. It was balanced. A human and a Drakari, learning from each other, growing with every move. Kael'Rin leapt forward with a spinning strike. Logan ducked and caught her arm. She twisted out of his grip and pushed him away, not harshly, but with a warrior's grace. They stepped back, facing each other. "You fight well, human," Kael'Rin said. "So do you," Logan replied. "When your pride doesn't blind you." She smiled faintly. "Then let us fight once more. For truth. For learning." He nodded. Their final exchange was fast and quiet. Their feet moved across the sand with rhythm. Every step was careful. Every strike was tested. And in the last moment, Logan stopped his hand inches before her chest. Kael'Rin's blade stopped, near his neck. They froze. No one had won, but no one had lost either. They stepped back slowly, lowering their hands. The crowd, unsure at first, began to clap. Then louder still. The entire arena was filled with the sound of thunderous applause. Kael'Rin raised her blade high, not in victory, but in respect. Logan bowed his head, simple, humble. The announcer spoke. "The battle ends in a draw, but a new path begins." Kael'Rin turned to Logan. "You have changed me. I was always told to fight with fire, but today I fought with thought. Thank you, human." Logan replied with a smile. "Sometimes the hardest battle is inside." They walked out of the arena side by side, enemies no more, but warriors, equal and free. After the match, Kael'Rin and Logan left the arena together, their steps slow but steady. The crowd's cheers still echoed in the air, but the two warriors had a different battle on their minds. A battle beyond the blade. Kael'Rin's mind raced. For years, she had lived by strict rules. Strength was power, and power was respect. To lose meant shame. But Logan had shown her another truth. Sometimes strength was knowing when to listen, when to change, and when to grow. They walked through the city of Jaren, a place of stone towers and busy markets, where warriors and traders from many worlds mixed. Kael'Rin's usual pride softened, as she noticed the simple smiles of children and the curious glances of strangers. This was a world of many voices, not just the loudest or the strongest. Logan glanced at her. "You've never been here before?" Kael'Rin shook her head. "No. My life was the arena and the battlefield." Logan smiled. "There's more to life than fighting. Sometimes peace is the greatest victory." She looked at him, surprised. "You sound like a teacher now." "I guess that's what this fight became," Logan said. "A lesson for both of us." Kael'Rin nodded. "I have a question." "Ask." "Why did you fight me like you did? Without weapons, without anger, without hate?" Logan thought. A moment. Because I believe fighting isn't about destroying your enemy. It's about testing yourself, about finding your limits, and then pushing past them. I wanted to see if you could do the same. She looked at him with respect. And? Logan's eyes gleamed. I think you can. As they walked deeper into the city, Kale Rin saw children playing with simple toys, wooden balls, spinning tops. Their laughter was light and free. It reminded her of a time long ago, before she had been trained to fight. She stopped by a small fountain, watching water flow gently over smooth stones. Do you think I can change? She asked quietly. Logan smiled. You already are. The city's busy sounds faded as the two warriors talked. For the first time, Kale Rin felt a calm she had never known. The battle inside her, the one filled with pride and fear, started to soften, but the peace was not to last. Suddenly, an alarm blared across the city. Kale Rin's eyes snapped open. What is that? Logan looked serious. Trouble. They ran toward the sound, their steps fast and sure. In the city square, a group of strange creatures had appeared, dark figures with sharp claws and glowing red eyes. They were raiders, attacking innocent people. The crowd panicked and ran. Shops closed. Children screamed. The city was under threat. Kale Rin's warrior spirit returned instantly. Stay behind me, she told Logan. Logan nodded, pulling out a small device from his belt. It wasn't a weapon, but a shield generator. The raiders charged, their claws swinging wildly. Kale Rin met them head-on. Her blade flashed, cutting through the attackers with precise, controlled strikes. Each movement was careful, not to hurt, more than needed. Logan activated his shield, protecting the fleeing civilians. Together they fought as one. Kale Rin noticed how Logan moved differently in battle than in the arena. Here, he wasn't just fighting to win, he was fighting to protect. She felt a new respect for him, not only as a fighter but as a guardian. The raiders, surprised by the resistance, started to retreat. Kale Rin raised her blade high and shouted, "Leave this place!" The creatures hissed and vanished into the shadows. The city was safe. The crowd cheered, not just for Kale Rin, but for Logan too. When the battle was over, Kale Rin turned to Logan. You fought well. More than well. You fought with heart, Logan smiled gently. I learned from you. Kale Rin looked at the people around her, the families, the children, the traders, and realized something important. Strength wasn't just about winning fights. It was about standing up for others, about protecting what mattered, about being willing to change. That night, as the city lights twinkled in the sky, Kale Rin and Logan sat together, talking long into the night. They shared stories of their worlds, their battles, and their hopes. Kale Rin admitted, I was afraid that if I lost I would lose everything. Logan replied, sometimes losing something makes room for something better. Their friendship deepened, two warriors from different worlds united not by battle, but by understanding. And as the stars shone above Jaren, a new chapter began, not just for Kale Rin and Logan, but for their peoples. The days after the battle passed quickly. News of Kale Rin and Logan's match spread across many worlds. People talked about it not as a fight, but as a turning point, a moment when two very different species met and learned from each other. Kale Rin felt the weight of the change inside her. The pride she once held so tightly now felt lighter, more like understanding. She no longer needed to prove she was the strongest. She wanted to grow stronger in new ways. One evening, as the twin moons rose over Jaren's horizon, Kale Rin and Logan met at the edge of the city, where the wild grass grew tall and the stars seemed closer. Kale Rin looked at Logan with a quiet seriousness. I have a question, human. Logan smiled softly. Ask. How do you carry the weight of your people without breaking? Logan thought carefully before answering. We don't always carry it alone. Sometimes we share the burden. Sometimes we ask for help. Kale Rin looked at the sky. That is very different from my world. Yes, Logan said. But strength comes from many places. Sometimes from others, sometimes from inside. The two sat in silence for a moment, the wind gently blowing around them. Suddenly, a message arrived from the Galactic Coalition. New threat had appeared, larger and more dangerous than before. A dark fleet was moving toward the outer planets, threatening peace. Kael'ren stood quickly. This is why we fought. To prepare. Logan nodded. Together, we can stop them. They returned to the city and gathered leaders from many species. Kael'ren spoke with clear strength, but also with humility. We cannot fight as we always have, she said. We must learn from each other. Use all our strengths. Logan added, humanity believes in hope and teamwork. We want to help. The leaders agreed. A new alliance formed, stronger because of difference, not despite it. Kael'ren and Logan were chosen to lead the defense. Training began. Kael'ren taught warriors how to think beyond power, how to use strategy and patience. Logan learned from Kael'ren's fierce spirit, the courage to face danger head-on. Together, they trained a new generation of fighters. The day came when the Dark Fleet arrived. The battle was fierce. Ships clashed in space. Warriors fought on the ground. But this time, the alliance was united. Kael'ren and Logan fought side by side, their moves in perfect harmony. Logan's quick thinking saved many lives. Kael'ren's strength inspired all. After a long struggle, the Dark Fleet was pushed back. Peace returned. The alliance held strong. Kael'ren turned to Logan, smiling. You were right. Strength is many things. Logan laughed softly. And sometimes it is knowing when to stand together. The two warriors had changed not only themselves but the galaxy. Their story became a symbol that even the strongest can learn, and even the smallest can lead.